just different. It's like, it's no different than race relations. Separate but equal is not equal. In our state, found the political will to change the dynamic and to say everybody's equal. Once again, the church, instead of being on the forefront of a social justice and equity issue, we are once again, instead of being a leader, we're tiptoeing, mincing around the real issues in the guise of, in the vestments, if you will, of canons and of continuing dialogue and pronouncements of our undying equal love for our brothers and sisters, but it still looks different. And that's the bottom line. It's not a question of better or worse. It's a question of it's different, and it's time for it to be the same. It's a difficult time for religious leaders. Every rector has to wrestle with this, him or herself, and every bishop has to wrestle with this, him or herself. But particularly in a state where it is now legal, given the fact that General Convention has given us the tools we need to be able to respond generously in a pastoral manner to same-sex couples wishing the blessing of the church, it seems to me it's time for us to move forward with that. It's time for us not to have separate but equal in the church anymore, because we have over a century now legally of realizing separate but equal doesn't work in race relations or anything else. It's time for us to acknowledge that in the church. And we have the tools to do it, and I think we should do it. Having done, as I say, at least 7 same-sex blessings, I see the wholeness that is there. I see the love. I see the commitment to live a life together in Christ that every couple has, irrespective of their sexuality. For the church to say that one is somehow different from the other, it seems to me, is standing in the way of Christ's mission of reconciliation and restoration for all individuals. Christ's mission of restoration and reconciliation extends to all the people in the church. And I think it's time for it to extend to same-sex couples as well when it comes to the way we treat marriage. We have long believed, since the 90s, I think since before I was an Episcopalian actually, that that being baptized in Christ is all you need to be an Episcopalian, to be a full beneficiary of the sacraments of the church and the ministries of the church. Clearly, we have not been living into that with respect to same-sex individuals or couples. Baptismal covenant is the signature statement of who we are when we enter into a life in Christ. And it talks about reconciliation. It talks about honoring and seeing Christ in the person of every human being, seeking and serving Christ in all persons. We don't get to pick and choose who those are. And again, to the extent there ever were serious debates about this, and I understand the cultural baggage and the years of tradition and history, we now know better. And Jesus gave us thinking minds, discerning hearts to think through those things so that the Spirit is alive with us. That's how Jesus remains alive in us. And we now know better. And so for us to continue to pretend we don't know better, or to continue to think that there's something keeping us from fulfilling Christ's mission of restoration and reconciliation in this way, I think we're clothing ourselves with the tapestry of the church and losing the spirit of Christ that should be driving us.